Hello dear friends, this is Dmitro, your English tutor. Of late I've been focusing mainly on Duolingo preparation, though we remember that there are also IELTS and TOEFL, Duolingo's two main competitors, but honestly I think that 90% of the market today in the world, especially given that we all go online, is occupied by Duolingo. Anyway, I get 90% of the requests from guys about preparation to Duolingo test, and in this lesson let's please do a couple of real tasks from the Duolingo English test, borrowed by some lovely enthusiasts whom I wish to live long and happy. So not long ago somebody was, let's joke, struggling with it on the Duolingo English test. So now you see something real, like they say, from the horse's mouth. You hear this and you can assess your readiness and your level and everything. So before proceeding, I want to remind you that I'm a very effective tutor, especially regarding Duolingo preparation. So if you need urgent assistance in preparation, please drop me a line via WhatsApp, Viber. I always give my telephone number, or email in the description to the video. Everything is given, so I'm sure you can find it, no matter on the computer, on the telephone. Open please the description to the video, and then read please the testimonials of my students, then the price and everything, and only then please write me, because some guys, they write and they don't realize like how much it is and something like that. But for now, enjoy my free lessons, which, mind you, have helped hundreds of guys just by means of my free lessons to get what they wanted Duolingo English test. Yeah, I tell you honestly, because this is my statistics. I get constant feedback. So okay guys, so, read aloud, such an interesting task at Duolingo, which is which is often overlooked by tutors and students, because we are mostly worried about vocabulary, like read and complete, writing, photo description, and this little guy is usually procrastinated, put off. And though, if you have noticed, at Duolingo you have several of these beauties, several, not one, but several. The system sometimes just really bombards us with them because they want to feel your reading. So it makes sense to say a couple of words about this and to improve and to increase our score. So I watched a couple of videos some time ago where the guys, they train you for this, and so their main philosophy is that you read, the faster the better. For example, so this sentence, let's read it. Subjects were presented with a grid of 12 letters arranged into 3 rows of 4. Something like that. And go on, go on, go on. I would agree with that, but when I was at the university, we had a special separate course, just think about it, for 1 year, it seems to me. The melody and the pitch and the rhythm of the English speech. So we were asked, I was reading tens and hundreds of such sentences, not just reading, everybody can read, if you know words you can, but the intonation, pauses, accents, stresses, emphasis, it all matters. So if you want to increase your score with this, so please listen to me now very attentively. Of course I will not go so deep as we do it in my private lessons, but at least, if you are smart enough, you will get what I say. Also you can practice, because you can find a lot of sentences to read on the internet, and there is no scarcity. So like 4 or 5 main recommendations to you. Firstly, try to read really aloud. You see, my friend, aloud means loud, not like subjects were presented with the grid, like loudly. Subjects were presented. This is rule number 1. Don't shout, but I think if you shout, it's not a bad idea. Don't spit so much into the screen, because yes. So first, read really loud. Don't mumble to yourself like a victim. Part 2. You know that we have such a phenomenon of intonation. Most of the guys who read the sentences, they don't give a rip about intonation, which is a big mistake, because intonation matters. Intonation in the language is everything. You understand that we can say, we can utter one and the same sentence to various listeners with different intonations, and we will be understood according to our so-called meta language, not the language itself, but by our intonation, body language. Yeah, in case with Duolingo we don't have body language, but we have intonation. So intonation is very important. Usually at the end of the sentence the intonation goes down. This pitch, pitch like the intensity of your voice. For example, 3 rows of 4. You see, I have slightly dropped gradually on 4. I didn't say into 3 rows of 4. You think it's obvious? Believe me, I witness this obviousness every day, that guys read such masterpieces they produce here that you can, you have goosebumps. So mostly, I say mostly, 90% of cases, especially when we don't have questions, we just have statements, the intonation at the end goes down. According to the laws of nature and the universe, the process is going, finally it collapses, it finishes, terminates into 3 rows of 4. Okay, at the beginning of the sentence, usually the intonation goes up. Subjects were presented with a grid of 12 letters. So you see, I don't say subjects were presented. Yes, I can do like that, but with your intonation, with your pitch jumping upwards, periodically you indicate to a listener that you're going to continue. Otherwise it's not possible for my mind to determine whether you're going to continue or you're stopping already. If you are dropping everywhere, your sentence turns into I don't know how to call this. So remember, please, usually at the beginning of the sentence you intrigue the listener with going up, and in the end go down. Also, a lot of guys, they may read intensely, but at the same pitch, at the same tone, which reminds, those telephones, especially old telephones, burp, 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 burp. So they read like this: subjects were presented with a grid of 12 letters arranged into 3 rows of 4. So no intonation, no, don't do like that. You have mostly up, down. Okay. Also, remember please that each sentence, no matter how big or small it is, can be divided into, let's call them cluster. Clauses, but not only clauses, into logical chunks. In every chunk we have, let's say, the core, the most important word. This word is stressed. Stressed. It can be stressed both up and down. It's not like intonation, but it must be stressed. You should pronounce it with more like stress in your intonation. It's very difficult to describe, but very easy to understand. For example, let's look at the sentence. Which are the most important words which must be stressed? Like without them, the sentence would be changed completely. It would lose its meaning. For example, if we have let's say arranged, maybe, no, were, if we drop these letters and I pronounce subjects, presented, grid of 12 letters, 3 rows of 4, you will understand what I mean, at least native. But if I drop subjects, if I drop 12 letters, if I dropped 3 rows of 4, you will not understand. Were, grid, arranged, no, you understand this. So I would stress subjects, presented, a grid of 12 letters is debatable because it depends on the context, so whether we should mostly stress grid or 12 letters. Of course we can stress both. Arranged is an important word, but we understand that everything in this universe is arranged. So if I don't stress it, it's okay, but 3 rows of 4 I must stress because it's the method, the format of presentation of that grid. Okay, so let's read it. Subjects were presented with a grid of 12 letters, arranged into 3 rows of 4. Every sentence has main words. You will notice that probably you will start with medium-sized sentences, and then, if you succeed, the system will present to you longer sentences. It's a very good sign. They will be more difficult, more and more and more. Please be happy about that, because one of the worst indicators, omens at Duolingo, is when you have everything easy and fun. I tell you, I have seen it hundreds of times. If you have everything simple, you will get not what you desire. But if the system attacks you with something difficult, or it's a very good, it tries to test you, to probe you for something more decent, for something of a higher level. Of course, another question is whether you succeed or not, but at least. So, all of these sentences have basic words which must be stressed. Subjects, it's important with subject, like people who were taking part in the experiment, subjects were presented 12 letters, 3 rows of 4. Then pauses. One of the most important and crucial thing is pauses. You see, if we have a comma, we must pause. Please don't tell me that we must read it quickly. I don't know. Try to read it quickly if you get your 130, 140. Okay, you're a cool guy and so on and so on. I cannot break this rule of commas and pauses because firstly, I had been taught it long time ago. And secondly, I feel the importance of this. We have pauses in every sentence, apart, even in the I love you, there we have a micro pause. Let's call it micro. For example, either after I or after love. But of course, you will tell me it's idiocy, I understand, but there are pauses even there. But if we have a long sentence of this, including commas, you must make a pause here, a short one, let's call it 1/3 of a second. Not the whole second maybe, but so subjects were presented with a grid of 12 letters. You see, with a grid of 12 letters, arranged into 3 rows of 4. Don't read a grid of 12 letters arranged. You see a comma, you see, it must be a pause here, don't be afraid. The system will assess not only your fluency, like velocity, it will the beauty of your reading. Oh, by the way, a very interesting trick is to imagine that you are an announcer of BBC or CNN. Please watch them, how they read the news. They read it in such a manner that even if you are located in another room, you don't see the announcer, you don't see the screen. They pronounce it in such a tense and vivid manner that the words are hammered in your psyche, as metal, I don't know, those huge metal nails, because they want you to be enthralled by that news. So try to read like they do, like the announcers of television. We don't expect that the announcer will read. Subjects were presented with a grid of 12 letters arranged into 3 rows of 4. You will not remember anything, it will not produce any impact on you. Okay, let's take the next one. I don't know what will be there, and if you're tired already of my philosophies, then let's take something fresh. Okay. Oh, by the way, a very important thing, you have 20 seconds. Please don't read it once. Don't read you have 7, 8 or 8 seconds, depending on the size, here, to look through the sentence, to skim, and then you will preliminarily see the words where you are likely to have problems, maybe, at least, and you will stumble less. So you see the timer. We may not whisper, so you pronounce it inside of yourself. When you have 12 seconds left or 11, you start reading them. You will feel the topic of this. You will see the pauses, maybe the commas and so on. Okay. The buses also run more frequently during the rush hours in the morning and evening. Okay, I can even change the intonation and anyway get again the high score. The buses also run more frequently during the rush hours in the morning and evening. You see, I can go up here during the rush hours in the morning and evening, or I can go down here during the rush hours in the morning and evening. But after rush hours, I must make a pause, and maybe after frequently. The buses and after buses. Listen please. The buses also run more frequently during the rush hours in the morning and evening. Before and also we have a micro pause in the morning and evening. I drop at evening. You may ask when I don't drop, I go up. 99% it happens in the questions. In they're called, it seems to me, closed questions or direct questions. You will understand now. Do, does. Do you like ice cream? Yeah, if we have do at the beginning, do, does, or is, was, can, it's called a closed question, and so, or let's call direct question. Direct. You are asked directly, yes or no. If you have a direct question, at the end of the question, you go up with your intonation. Do you like ice cream? We don't ask, do you like ice cream? Yeah, you can do like that, but do you like ice cream? Can he run? You see, can he run? I don't say can he run. But if we have a question word at the beginning of a question, then anyway you go down at the end. For example, what is your favorite genre of music? Listen. What is your favorite genre of music? We don't say, what is your favorite genre of music? Yeah, more natural, less natural. So, also, if we have an exclamation mark here, then it varies depending on the context. I cannot find out. But let's consider that 99% of you will be so excited here that you will be happy to understand at least the words, yes, the letters, how to pronounce. And anyway, there is also some room for perfection. Try to identify where we go up, where we go down, and main pauses. And stress, like the most important word. Here maybe the buses, frequently, rush hours, in the morning and evening maybe sooner. The buses also run more frequently during the rush hours, in the morning and evening. We understand that everybody understands that rush hours happen both in the morning and evening, so it's not a big deal. But rush hours, very important. More frequently, very important. Who runs? Buses run. Yes, so buses are also important, because not bicycles. Okay, let's take this one. Okay, I look through. Here is a list of some of the major theories of modern science. A short sentence, no commas, but my mind already sees that here I will have a micro pause. Here I go down, maybe a list. I like intrigue you a little bit. Here I'll go a bit up. Okay, so here is a list of some of the major theories of modern science, or of modern science, as you like. I can stress modern or I can stress science, depending on my wish, because we are out of context here. Science is important, but maybe here modern is even more important, because there are, let's say, medieval science, yes or no, so of modern science. Here is a list of some of the major theories of modern science, something like that. Don't be afraid to make micro pauses, here is a list of some of the major theories of modern science. Can you imagine anybody speaking like that in the street or something? They would take you to the psycho hospital, because, yeah. What else I wanted to tell you guys about? So, okay, let's recap, because I have already bothered you for 17 minutes. So, firstly, read loudly, really loud, because it's called Read Aloud, you see? It's very important. The algorithm, those complicated, powerful algorithms will feel like more easily, they will be at ease analyzing your speech when you pronounce everything clearly, of course, distinctly, clearly, but loudly. Secondly, usually at the beginning of a sentence we go up. We show the listener that we are going to continue. At the end of the sentence we go down. Part 3. In every sentence we have some pauses. If you don't have enough experience to identify this pause within 6 or 7 seconds, okay, let it be, but remember that they are. Listen to announcers, listen to everybody. You are making pauses, otherwise it's very difficult to comprehend. There is a constant flow of words into it. It's part 3. Part 4, in every sentence there are keywords which must be stressed. For example, modern science, list. I think, again, it's debatable, major or theories. I would stress major, because it's more fresh, it's the modifier. See, here's a list, you see, here is a list of some of the major theories of modern science. Modern, I'm sorry, I stretched more. No, of modern science. Yeah. Okay. By the way, if you have a list, my friends, really, you may have a list with commas. For example, John, comma, Patrick, comma, and Dmitro went fishing. Yeah. Remember, please, when you have enumeration, on every item in this enumeration, enumeration, you go up with your intonation. At the last one, you go down. So, John, you see up, John, Michael, Sarah, and Dima went fishing. You see? At Dima, we can go down. Maybe even up, but John, Michael, Sarah, and Dima went fishing. Don't say John, Sarah, Michael, and Dima went fishing. It's unnatural. Okay, my friends, so if you need real assistance, so drop me a line. I know a lot about this, and usually we also put this interesting, marvelous exercise at the end, like, because we have usually have problems with reading comprehension, with writing, and but remember please that it's also important. Had it not been so important, Duolingo would not give you a lot of them during the test. So please try to read, listen to the announcers. Luckily you have YouTube. I hope you can turn on any talk shows, news, and everything, presentations, seminars. Listen how people speak, listen to them, try to catch the pauses, and try to catch those peaks and downs, troughs of the pitch. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, my friends. So if you need assistance, drop me a line, and see you in our next lesson.